Well, I don't know about you guys, but this interview changed my life. I'm hoping that it changed your life. Like I said, this is the second time that I've gone through this, and this is one of those ones that you can watch over and over and over again because of the fact that you'll pick up new stuff. I mean, every time that you hear Les Brown, you come away with something new. He's just such a treasure trove of knowledge. So, Chad, it'd be interesting to see what kind of notes you wrote down because it seems like they were endless. I just kept going page after page after page.
Dude, come on, we got to stretch our fingers out after all. So, man, I've so many things here, but I wanted to kind of put a focus on two that stood out to me and then kind of wrap that around it within the context of everyone that's on here and kind of knowing generally where a lot of us are right now. So the first one, and this is a philosophy that I think is so true. Actually, right when he said it, I had to go on Facebook and make a post because I was like, oh my gosh, that's the one thing. I'm always looking for the one thing. And up to that point was the one thing. And then there was another one that was another one thing. So, but the first one that he said is life is a fight for territory. Once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want takes over. And I think I see that as a guiding principle in Les Brown's life. And I know that's been a guiding principle in my life because it's a fight. Everything's a fight. We're either gaining ground or we're losing ground. A default mode, drift mode, survival mode. We're losing ground and we go into that mode. We have to advance. Advance. It's an action word. It's in action. Nothing positive ever happens. So the only way we're advancing is by fighting, and it's that taking territory. So that was the first thing. And then when I listened to Les's story, you know what I felt like when he said it, I felt the passion behind it, and I was like, and it clicked. What was his why? You know, we have a why because there's got to be a driving force behind the fight. We got to have something that's that endless source that keeps us moving, keeps us fighting, keeps us advancing. And man, his why right there when he said, I got to use my voice to help mama. That was it right there. That was the core. It's funny. This little dude just walked in when I was doing this because for me and really the transition to be an entrepreneur, I was a soldier, and you know, a lot of times in the regular corporate world or whatever, or you know, whatever your occupation is, you can fight to a certain degree, and then you can kind of just back off the fight because you know that there's that safety net. You know, there's that guaranteed income. Maybe you have a job somewhere and, you know, you feel pretty safe because it's going to be here. So I was in the military, and obviously the military is a pretty secure profession as far as you're not going to get laid off. And this little dude, for me, I was 7,300 miles from him, and he was 2, and he got real sick, and I had to go to the hospital, and I wanted to be there. And I was a dad and a father, and you know, like any dad or father, I was like, I need to go right now. And I couldn't because, you know, the military and because, so for me, I had this picture. And it was the picture I saw on Facebook when I was 7,300 miles away. And so all I have to do, if I feel like being lazy or I feel like, I don't know if the fight's worth it anymore, all I got to do is think back and remember that why, the family, the unit, the flexibility, the freedom, right? And that makes it worth it again to get up one more day and do it one more time. So within the context of those two things, Les Brown thinking, I got to use my voice to help mama. And I got to keep fighting. And his life was all about giving back to the woman who he loves so much. And that's kept him going all these years, you know, and somewhere along the way, obviously he found, man, I can help transform people. I can turn people on. I can flip that switch in them. Like the speaker that flipped the switch in him, you know, when he made that phone call and that guy said, I represent the thoughts you have rejected to yourself. What a powerful day. And I think all of us have probably been sitting there and had that person speaking who we heard, we're like, man, they're speaking to us. And it's like when you go through that day or that sermon or that, maybe for some of you listening to Les right now, something's clicked and you're never, ever going to be the same. Like, and Les Brown you don't just like listen to Les Brown. He's like you experience Les Brown. Like, I can't think of anyone else that can have me laughing, crying, all in like 2 minutes. I feel like I'm some teenager again, like going through this emotional, like roller coaster, like, crying, I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm laughing. I'm like, what is wrong with me? It's just so crazy. But to go through a couple of the things that really stuck out, he says, I know, the first thing he said, and he's such a great encourager, isn't he? Because he's sitting there with Ed Mylett, and he said, I know when I am in the presence of greatness. See, he doesn't leave it, he doesn't leave the thoughts hanging out. He makes it clear. He's such a great communicator. He makes it clear what he's thinking. And I think that's a huge tip for all of us right there. When we are in the presence of greatness, which I believe every human has a superpower, every human has gifts and talents. So if we engage in a conversation with the expectation that we're going to discover that person in front of us' giftings and talents, and we let them know what we have found in them, that's a huge thing. I'm always looking within a minute of a conversation with somebody how I can find a way to encourage them. And not flattery. Flattery is all about what can I get, what can I take from someone. Encouragement is all about what can I give to someone. So it's just a subtle difference, but it's so important. He said, absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. That was another one. I was just like, whoa. That's, and some of that stuff for me, I'm a processor. So I'm like, okay, I got it. And I'm going to go back to it later and marinate on it and sit on it and go back through the notes. Attention is the new currency. When you can communicate, you get attention. He said, who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? The three questions everyone's always asking as we're out building our business. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? Steve Jobs, the storyteller, is the most powerful person in the world. Ed Mylett jumped in there and he said, facts tell, but stories sell. See, it's the stories in our business. It's the stories that you'll share about how these products not only made someone lose weight or made them feel better, but it gave them the confidence back. They looked in the mirror and saw a new person just a couple months after getting on these products because of the self-confidence that it brought back, because of the way it made them feel when they lost weight, the way it made them feel when they could get outside and they could run a mile for the first time in 10 years, or they could bend over and pick up the toys and not be out of breath. It's the power behind the future of what these products represent and what this business opportunity represents and what we can do with it. Live a life that will outlive you. Dude, love that one. Someone's opinion of you does not have to be your reality. Like, that's not who you are. Who does God say you are? The more we dial into that, and if you're not sure who God says you are, just go to Ephesians 1 and read it, and then read it again, and then go find some commentaries and read it again. But God says that you are already blessed, that you're already chosen, that you're already accepted, that you're already adopted, that you already have authority and power. Once you really truly understand as a son or daughter of God who you are, you're heir to a king, you kind of have a little bit of a pep in your walk. When you look in the mirror, you see something a little bit different than maybe that you see right now. So dig into Ephesians 1 and just really truly study who God says you are, because when you understand who God says you are, it doesn't matter as much who others say you are. You're like, yeah, you're a little off there. And what's most importantly is who you say you are when you look in the mirror. Because if you don't know who you are, how can you possibly help your children understand who they are? How can you help your friends understand who they are? Be a voice for love. Love that one. Positive social relationships leads to a long life. How about that one? Whoever wants to live a long life? I want to live a long life. We got to get around some smiling, happy people. We should be laughing every single day. I said, you don't listen to Les Brown, you experience him. He's just, I could listen to him all day. We have to die daily to who we are now, so new birth and growth can occur. Kind of like a caterpillar into the butterfly, right? You might be the butterfly now, and it's tough to hang with caterpillars when now you're a butterfly. Kingdom in you is voice activated. God said, let there be light, and there was light. So we have that same power, that same authority, and us use our voices for good and to speak life into the world. Power of life and death in the tongue. You and I have that power to create life and also to take away life. So we have to be careful of the words that we speak. I live my life as my gift to God. Man, we were at the men's retreat last year, and the guy there said, is what you're living for worth what Christ died for? That got me. I'm just gonna do a couple more. Les Brown speaks greatness into people. I just wrote amazing encourager, but probably the best. I represent I said that one already. Going all in. You talk about going all in. And at the end, I'll just leave it with this one because I could go all day. Live a heart-centered life. And of course, he closed with one of my favorite ways he usually closes. Simba! You are more than what you have become. And if you need some more, guys, it's in this book. You got to be hungry. Look, he even ate part of the word hungry because he's always hungry. And that's one thing that's amazing about Les Brown. At 75 years old, he is probably in his prime. And he's just a walking, living testimony of what's possible in this world. And just a absolutely incredible human being. So that's what I got, Joel.
Well, that's it, because that was amazing. It's one of those things where there's so much good stuff you don't know what to pick out, and while you're writing one quote down, he's already said two more, and that's one of the amazing talents that Les Brown has, is to basically regurgitate some of the most amazing quotes of all time. The one thing that I loved is what he started out with, and this is how everyone has been programmed. He says, from the ages of 0 to 5, we learn what is available to us and what is not available to us. So guys, you may have some deep-rooted programming that you're going to have to go through and reprogram in order for you to get what it is you've always wanted. Because maybe between the ages of 0 and 5, you were programmed that was never going to be the option for you, which is an absolute lie that was sold to you. Let your inherent good shine through. That was it. This was all within the first 2 minutes. This quote I wrote down because it was amazing. Each day is the best day of your life. If you don't think so, try missing one. That was gold right there. And he said, for this time and age, the differentiator is going to be hunger and drive. Because if information could change you, everybody right now would be rich, healthy, and happy. Because we're in the age of information. Everything is available at your fingertips. But just because it's available at your fingertips doesn't translate into it changing your life. More than thirst and hunger, humans need stories. Guys, this is why it is so important for you to share your story. Don't be afraid of your story. Like Steph said before, we were embarrassed to tell our story of standing in food lines and filing for bankruptcy and losing everything. But the moment we started speaking about that, we started connecting to others who had either gone through that or were going through that or are going through that now. Because now we can use that story to connect with them, to show them that, guess what? There is a way through it. There is hope on the other side. How you are currently living your life is based on the story that you're telling yourself right now. Don't let someone else's opinion about you become your reality. Man, I can keep going on this. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. So in order to get what you want, you need to change who you are to become the person that can receive that. The three things that he talked about was 1, developing your mind, 2, OQP, only quality people in your life, and 3, developing your communication skills. And I love the story about his mom getting put in jail and then years down the road finding that man who he said if he saw him again he would kill him, and then he was brought into his presence in front of his son and he had to run away. And he said, forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is remembering without the anger and hatred. That right there is amazing. That gives me chills just saying it. This is another great one, guys. This is what we try and teach everybody the moment they join our team. If the dream is big enough, the road and the odds don't matter. You will get there. This one always captures my heart every time I hear it. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. That one right there is amazing. Guys, it could go on and on and on. I'll go ahead and stop right there. Oh, no, hold on. Nope. Sorry. I went to another page. There's two more. Sell people on their greatness and the next version of themselves. Speak greatness into and over people. And then finally, I'll end with, there's greatness in you. You can't fit a big dream inside of a small mind. So congratulations on joining us today and expanding your mind. We can't wait to see you here again next time, guys. Go out and make it an amazing rest of your day. We'll see you soon.
Say bye.
Bye.